In this lesson, we're going to learn the Hapki-Do self-defense techniques for blue belt 1 to 5. So once again, another new set of Hapki-Do techniques. These ones here, you have to imagine now that you're wearing something with long sleeves. So whether it's your martial arts uniform, whether you're outside and you're wearing a jacket, whatever it is, many of these techniques, at least the first few, are going to assume that you're wearing something with long sleeves. Because now your opponent, instead of actually grabbing your wrist here, your opponent is grabbing the clothing. So they're actually grabbing the sleeve here. And that changes the technique somewhat, and we're going to see how that happens and how to defend against that. So once again, imagine your opponent is facing you and they're grabbing using their left hand. Okay, so they're grabbing. The techniques are going to work whether they grab left hand or right hand. We just teach on the one side and it's up to the student to practice on both sides. But here, imagine that your opponent is grabbing you with their left hand. Again, most people are right-handed, so if they're going to grab you, it's probably going to be with the non-dominant hand. So they're probably going to grab you with their left in order to be able to punch you with their right. So assuming the right hand is the dominant hand, people are going to grab with the non-dominant hand to be able to hold you and hit you with their strong hand. So that's the rationale behind it. If you want to practice on the other side, you're certainly encouraged to do so. So anyway, your opponent is standing in front of you, just in ready stance and grabbing like this. Left hand out, grabbing, and they're grabbing the sleeve down by your wrist, like this. So, number one, okay? So number one, being grabbed here. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to circle around and I'm going to grab their wrist. I'm going to grab their hand, grab their wrist right here, and trap it so that they can't pull out. So now they're trapped. So from here, I'm going to circle around. I'm going to make a ridge hand. So I don't know if we've discussed ridge hand previously, but a ridge hand looks like this. So you tuck the thumb underneath, so it's not like a regular knife hand. A ridge hand, you tuck your thumb underneath, and the actual striking tool is the opposite side of the hand. So a knife hand, this would be the striking tool. On a ridge hand, this is the striking tool here. So it's the opposite, sometimes called a reverse knife hand, but that term is used too much. It's an overloaded term in Taekwondo. So this is ridge hand. So what you're going to do, like I said, you're being grabbed here. Grab underneath so that they are trapped. They can't pull out. So I'm going to circle around. I'm coming around their arm here, and I'm going to use the ridge hand to apply pressure. So their wrist is going to be right here. I'm applying pressure to the wrist, and I'm going to step through like this and draw it across. With this technique here, you can break the opponent's wrist with this. So, and again, if you want to see these techniques done with a partner, I've got videos on my channel where I'm doing all of these techniques with my dad. So you can see what they look like with a partner, which is very important. In these videos here, I'm not showing them with a partner. I'm showing you the movements, and I'm teaching you the details of what's actually going on with each of the techniques. In the videos with my dad, I just do it. So I'm just doing the technique. I'm not explaining anything. I'm not talking. I'm just doing the techniques. So if you just want to see them, to see how they work and how it's done, watch those videos in the playlist where I'm doing them with a partner. But here I'm giving you the why behind it. I'm teaching you what is going on specifically here. So I know you have to use your imagination a little bit to picture what's happening here, but it's important that you understand what's going on, and then you can see it with a partner. It'll all make sense. So from here, grabbing underneath, circling around over top of their arm, coming around underneath because their arm is right here, pressing on the wrist and stepping through like this. So this would be a wrist submission. They don't go with this technique, they're going to have a broken wrist. And looking at it from the side, so again, I'm being grabbed here. So I'm going to circle around. You can imagine how my arm moves around their wrist. So I'm going to trap them in place by grabbing their hand. I'm going to come around over top of their arm, circle around, make a ridge hand, and then step through and apply pressure. So once again, trapping, circling. Notice the thumb is tucked in, and then coming around like this, putting pressure on. And always remember, when you're working with a partner, your partner should be tapping out. As soon as you feel pain when you're working with a partner, and you're going to take turns, so one person's going to be the attacker, then you take turns, then you're the defender and they're the attacker, and so on and so forth. But as soon as you feel pain coming on, then we do what's called tapping out, where you tap out when you feel pain. And if there's ever a situation where both of your hands are tied up so that you can't tap, then you would stamp. You'd stamp one foot on the ground, and that would be tapping out. Number 2. Again, same grab. They're grabbing the sleeve on the outside of my wrist. From here, I'm going to circle around, trap the hand, come around on top, and then press down. So now I'm pushing down with a knife hand, I'm grabbing their fist with my hand, and I'm pushing up on the fist and down on the wrist. And once again, this will break somebody's wrist. If you do this with significant force, you'll break their wrist. So here again, grabbing, trapping, coming over the top, and down with a knife hand. So looking at that from the side, they're grabbing here like this. I'm grabbing, trapping them, coming over the top, and pushing down with that knife hand on their wrist. So that is number 2. Number 3, they're grabbing the sleeve at the elbow. So with this one here, again, I'm going to come across, I'm going to grab their hand so that it's trapped. I don't want them to be able to pull out at this point. And now I'm going to come over the top like this, and I'm going to reach long and put pressure across the elbow. So their arm is going to be bent this way here, and I'm going to be coming across over top of the elbow with my knife hand and putting pressure on like this. So what's going to happen is, the higher up they grab on the arm, the worse that it's going to be for them, because I'm going to get more and more leverage on every one of these techniques. So number 3, coming over, reaching long, and putting pressure across the elbow. So looking at that from the side, so they're grabbing here like this. I grab them to make sure that they're trapped, and now I roll the arm over top like this, and I come across and reach long and put pressure across with the knife hand. So that's number 3. Number 4, this time they're grabbing up by the tricep. So grabbing up here, higher. This time, whether I'm wearing a jacket or long sleeve, or if I'm just wearing a short sleeve shirt, doesn't matter. Because now this is a grab that will work if you're in a short sleeve shirt, for example. So they're grabbing up here by your tricep. So once again, I'm going to come across, I'm going to grab, trap the arm to make sure that they can't pull away, and I'm going to come over the top like this, bring my whole arm and elbow up over top, and now I'm going to push down like this. Once again, putting pressure on the elbow. So this is another elbow submission. This would break the arm at the elbow if you were to apply pressure on this technique. So all the way over and then bringing it down like this. Looking at that from the side. So from here, number 4 at the tricep, grabbing, coming over, and again down, bringing the arm over and down, putting pressure on. Number 5, this time they're grabbing up at the shoulder or up at the collar, like this. So up here. So number 5, again, I'm going to reach over, I'm going to trap that arm to make sure that they can't pull out. This time I'm going to bring my whole arm up and over, and I'm going to come down, bring my body weight down. You notice I come all the way into an L stance, and I'm going to lower my body down like this. This arm is up over top, and I'm going to come down and bring the pressure down like this. And this is the most powerful out of the group here, because now I've got my whole arm that I can come over and put pressure on. So there's a very good chance you can break their arm with this technique here. You've got tremendous amount of force going into that. So looking at it from the side, they're grabbing up here at the shoulder or up by the collar. So from this position here, I reach across, grab to make sure that they can't pull out. So whether I'm grabbing the wrist or whether I'm grabbing their fist here, I'm making sure that they can't pull out from here. And now I bring my whole arm up and over, wrap it around, and then lower myself down. Bring my body weight down and pull like this. So looking from this side here, you might get a better vantage point of it. So from here, trapping, over, and down like this. So that is number 5. So that is the blue belt Hapki-Do self-defense techniques 1 to 5.